What's up, folks? Welcome to another episode of the UIBuzz podcast slash vlogcast. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube or, on listening to the podcast, I will include the link to the other one in the show notes. Now, this episode is probably going to get me in trouble because I'm calling this one, It's the Right Tool for Someone, because this is something I see happening a lot, and I felt it was about time to share an opinion on it. And it goes like this, right? Everybody seems to think and have an opinion that tool XYZ is the right one to go with, and you just shouldn't use any other one. And that is the wrong attitude, because every tool, I believe, is the right tool for somebody. May not be for the majority of people, may not be for you, but it's the right tool for someone. Now, I base this on the fact that, I always see people asking, and they come to my live streams and everything else, and other people's live streams, and they ask, hey, I want to get into development. What's the best tool for XYZ, right? The classic example, code editors, right? I mean, IDEs / text editors, whatever you want to call them. My gosh, there's no end of choices, and there's no end of people saying that this is the right one, this is the best one because of whatever. And you're all wrong because that's the right one. And just quit that. Just get over it, right? Because what happens here is the next thing, the person who's looking for the advice sees all of this infighting. And the last thing we want to do is turn people away, right? If there are new people who want to get into development, for example, let's just say game development or whatever, web development, mobile development, that's fantastic. We should help them. We shouldn't get into infighting about why one tool is better than the other and you should absolutely use this one and don't use that one. Because that's going to turn them away, it's going to turn them off, and it sends the wrong message that the development community is just going to be hostile about everything. And we know that's not true, right? There are fantastic amount of people out there in the development communities that just offer the best advice, right? They don't lay it down as a law, they just offer the advice and say, look, I think this one is good because of this. I don't like this one because of that. They don't make it an absolute sounding like this is the rule you must follow. And kudos to all of those people. Fantastic. Thank you for doing it that way. Because we need to get new folks in and excited about things, because who knows what they're going to make and change the world, right? And wouldn't it be terrible if we turned someone away at the first step because they saw us all fighting about these tools, all very opinionated about tools, and they said, well, I don't want to get involved with any of that, and they walk away and we'll never know, right? We'll never see them change the world. So let's just quit that, right? Let's, by all means, offer our advice and our thoughts and our opinions, but let's make it clear that we're not saying this is an absolute rule, right? You're not saying you should use this game engine because, and you should not use that one because, and make it sound like if you don't do this, that somehow you're going to be shunned by the communities and you're just wrong and I'm right. Don't do it. That is such a stupid, childish attitude. I'm just going to say it like that. But by all means, offer the advice. And I say this because I see it happen so many times. Anytime I'm on a developer's live stream or I'm on mine, there's always new folks come by who are excited and want to get into things and don't know how. And we owe it to them and we owe it to ourselves to give them advice, and good advice, not opinionated, make them hate something from the outset. That is not the way to go here, right? So that's where the title of this episode comes from. It's the right tool for someone, because my workflow is probably different than your workflow. So therefore, the tools that work for me are probably different than the tools that work for you. And we're both correct in our own little world. And that's the way to look at it. Neither of us are wrong, right? And don't go around making opinions sound like it has to be a right and wrong. That's just ridiculous. So I want to put that out there in this episode because I do see it come up a lot, and it's really been bothering me lately. I'm sure I'll take some flack for this, whatever, internet haters. Those are the people I'm talking about here, right? Those who just believe that they're absolutely right, no question. And my advice to other people, listen to what they have to say, that's fine. But just remember that there's no one setting the rules here, right? You set your own rules. Go with that. So that's it for this episode. If this has been helpful or you have an opinion, I'm sure you do, leave a comment. You know what else to do, right? Like, follow, all the things. Tell your friends. I greatly appreciate it. Again, this is my opinion, right? There's nothing that says I'm right or wrong. That's just my opinion on this. You can reach out to me, peterwhedon.com. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, just follow this channel, leave your comments. You can leave the comments on the blog post for this podcast version. I'll put a link in the show notes for that. And you can also find me, at UIBuzz on Twitter is another place to find me for this podcast. That's it, folks. I hope that you're having a great time and had a lot of fun with things. I'm playing with some new tools to find out what works for me. That's it. I will speak to you in the next episode.